Hey everyone, thank you all so much for watching Weather with Sim again. I hope you guys have all had a great weekend and I hope you guys are all having a great start to your work week. And today is February 23rd, 2025, and in today's forecast, we're going to be talking about some more huge storms that are going to be coming to the United States as we get into the beginning of March, and these could bring a lot of impacts as not only could we be seeing an active start towards severe weather season as some of these storms could really be capable of producing some pretty big severe weather events, but we could also be seeing the potential for more heavy snowfall and as well as some more Arctic blasts, even though we will be warming up a little bit. If you are new here to the YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel as we are getting very close to reaching 2,000 subscribers, and you can help me get there by subscribing to my channel. And if we can get there before spring, that would be great. But if we haven't gotten to 2,000 subscribers before spring, I probably won't do an upgrade on this channel, so make sure to subscribe to the channel as you can help me get there that way. Make sure to also give this video a thumbs up and also share this with friends, family, or anyone who you know on social media. I definitely appreciate it. But let's first start off by taking a look at the future radar, and as you guys can see, we will be tracking some pretty big rainfall along the Gulf Coast as we get into the next couple of days, especially across Louisiana, and that will then continue into Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and as well as into Florida, and then eventually start to move off the coast of Florida and into the Atlantic Ocean. So that doesn't really look to cause anything too significant besides maybe a little bit of flooding issues. Otherwise, it doesn't really look to be too crazy overall. But after that, though, we will then start to see a little bit of a storm system roll on through, which won't really have a low on it, but will still likely bring a little bit of heavy rainfall at times, especially across the Ohio Valley and as well as the New England region, as you can see right there. So we will be watching that very closely as we get into Thursday, February 27th, and then after that, we will then start to see even another big storm system push on in, which this one is going to be a pretty big one, okay? As we get into March 5th, we could be seeing the potential for some pretty big time severe weather events, especially across the Ohio Valley and as well as the deep south, as not only will we have some energy surging on in, it won't be a ton of energy, but it will be some, potentially getting as far north as the mid-Mississippi River Valley. And if we look at the lightning flash rate, once again, it's not going to be a lot of energy, but we will have enough to maybe support a little bit of thunderstorm activity across southern Illinois. Those could then continue into parts there of southern Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, but especially down here in the deep south is going to be the main area that we're going to be keeping an eye on very closely, as I do think some of these areas could potentially even see a severe weather event or two, so we will be watching that. And then after those storms heads out, we then start to see another sign of maybe a severe weather event or two occurring down here in the deep south, especially as we get into the end of the first week of March. So we will need to be watching that very closely, like I said, as it is going to be one of our more concerning storms just around the corner to watch for. But at the same time, it is still a little far out, so we don't really know exactly if this is going to be the case or not. But the least I can say, though, is that this is looking possible, especially as we'll be entering tornado season. But you should still be paying attention, though, as this is definitely going to be causing some impacts, even if it doesn't cause severe weather. And then the next thing I want to talk about is going to be our temperatures. For our temperatures, we will be tracking some pretty cold temperatures across the southern United States, especially down there in Texas, as we get throughout today and perhaps even into tomorrow. But as we take this forward, much of the United States will then start to see a lot of warm air rolling through. Much of us should start feeling like spring by this time, and it's just going to be awesome to see all this warm air surge on in. But then after that, it does not look like we are going to stay warm for very long, as we'll have another small cold period rolling on through as we get into the last day of February. And then after that, once again, much of the United States looks to them warm up again. and then we'll start to see even another cold shot roll on through out here to the east, making it feel like winter again, as temperatures may be as low as 30 degrees below average in some of these areas, so that's not looking good for them. We then warm up again, but then we start to see even more cold air try to push on in, and so it is definitely looking like a pretty wild pattern, guys. This doesn't really look to bring anything in the way of significant severe weather, at least from what we're seeing as of right now, but this does really look to cause some pretty big issues though, as this warm and cold air are really going to be causing some pretty big battles around, so make sure to at least be paying attention, as I do think this is going to be causing some pretty big impacts, especially as we get into the beginning of March, if why not by the second week of March, so make sure to be paying attention, as this is going to cause some pretty big issues. And then the next thing I want to look at is going to be your total rain and also your total snowfall. Starting off with your total snowfall, you guys can see that you guys have some pretty good chances for some heavy snowfall out here in the west. We're talking anywhere from 2 to 4 feet of snowfall, especially in the higher elevations in the Sierra Nevadas, Cascades, even over there towards Jackson, Wyoming, Colorado, Idaho, Utah. So make sure to at least be, on high alert for winter driving conditions, as I do expect some of these to contain some pretty big heavy snow bands around, so make sure to use extreme caution if you're going to be driving on the roadways out here, as there is already plentiful amounts of snowfall already in the higher elevations, and with all this added on to that, that will really cause some big impacts. Same over here across places like Nebraska, Kansas, and even North Dakota. 1 to 2 feet of snowfall is looking possible for you guys, but even areas up here in the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, Northeast, and maybe even a little sliver there of the Mid-Atlantic could all get maybe up towards a foot of snowfall as we head throughout the rest of this month and into the beginning of March. But once again, still a little too far out to tell, and I think some of these areas are kind of being a little overdone. But the least I can say, though, is that this will cause some big issues, so make sure to be paying attention. And once again, if you're going to be driving on the roadways over here, make sure you use extreme caution if you're going to be driving in the higher elevations, as some of them have not even gotten plowed yet. And then the next thing I want to look at is going to be our total freezing rain, just to show you guys that some of these snowstorms may contain a little bit of freezing rain at the same time. It's going to be pretty spotty, so not really looking at anything crazy. Maybe up there towards 1/10 of an inch across Minnesota, Wisconsin, northern Michigan, maybe even the southern UP of Michigan into Toronto, Canada, and even across the Mid-Atlantic could definitely see some spotty rainfall issues. But once again, I'm not really seeing any significant amounts of freezing rain as of right now, but some of this could still cause some issues though, so make sure to subscribe to the channel, as we will continue to keep you guys up to date with the latest on that. And of course, the rainfall is definitely looking to be pretty plentiful, as we will likely be seeing some pretty good rain and storms rolling through these areas along the East Coast and as well as the Deep South. But if we compare that to the GFS model, the GFS model actually keeps it a little farther to the north, which is pretty interesting. But we will likely be seeing some pretty good rainfall across much of the eastern United States, so we will need to be watching that very closely. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, as we are still getting closer to 2,000 subscribers. And once again, I am planning on doing an upgrade, but I won't be able to do my upgrade unless you guys get me up there towards 2,000 subscribers before spring, because that's when I'm planning on doing my upgrade. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel, as it really does help support the channel a lot. Make sure to also give this video a thumbs up and share this with friends, family, or anyone who you know on social media. I definitely appreciate it, and I really do appreciate the support from you guys to help me create my spring forecast as well. And I hope you guys all have a great rest of your Sunday out there, and as well as a great start to your work week. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thank you all so much for watching, and goodbye.